the readings will now be given by Florence from Georgia.
From the Bible, Isaiah. Thus said the Lord to his anointed, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. Assemble yourselves and come. Draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image, and pray unto a God that cannot save. Look unto me, and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, and there is none else. 1 Samuel. And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said, Moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and the Lord be with thee. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put an helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him. And he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head off from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hastened and ran toward the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag, and took thence a stone, and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sank into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine, and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. Psalms. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and coming in from this time forth, and even forevermore. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. There shall no evil befall him, neither shall thy plague come nigh thy dwelling. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. I will read correlative passages from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures and prose works, both by Mary Baker Eddy. The central fact of the Bible is the superiority of spiritual over physical power. There is but one way, namely God and his idea, which leads to spiritual being. The scientific government of the body must be attained through the divine mind. It is impossible to gain control over the body in any other way. On this fundamental point, timid conservatism is absolutely inadmissible. Only through radical reliance on truth can scientific healing power be realized. Whatever teaches man to have other laws and to acknowledge other powers than the divine mind is anti-Christian. The good that a poisonous drug seems to do is evil, for it robs man of reliance on God, omnipotent mind, and according to belief, poisons the human system. Christian Science goes to the bottom of mental action and reveals the theodicy, which indicates the rightness of all divine action as the emanation of divine mind, and the consequent wrongness of the opposite so-called action, evil, occultism, necromancy, mesmerism, animal magnetism, hypnotism. I had learned that thought must be spiritualized in order to apprehend spirit. It must become honest, unselfish, and pure in order to have the least understanding of God in divine science. The first must become the last. Our reliance upon material things must be transferred to a perception of and dependence on spiritual things. For spirit to be supreme in demonstration, it must be supreme in our affections and must be clad with divine power. Purity, self-renunciation, faith, and understanding must reduce all things real to their own mental denomination. Mind, which divides, subdivides, increases, diminishes, constitutes, and sustains according to the law of God. If there be any monopoly in my teaching, it lies in this utter reliance upon the one God to whom belong all things. Life is God, or spirit, the supersensible eternal. The universe and man are the spiritual phenomena of this one infinite mind. Spiritual phenomena never converge toward aught but infinite deity. Their gradations are spiritual and divine. They cannot collapse or lapse into their opposites, for God is their divine principle. They live because He lives, and they are eternally perfect because He is perfect, and governs them in the truth of divine science, whereof God is the Alpha and Omega, the center and circumference. May God enable my students to take up the cross as I have done and meet the pressing need of a proper preparation of heart to practice, teach, and to live Christian Science. Your means of protection and defense from sin are constant watchfulness and prayer, that you enter not into temptation and are delivered from every claim of evil, till you intelligently know and demonstrate in science that evil has neither prestige, power, nor existence, since God good is all in all. The increasing necessity for relying on God to defend us against the subtler forms of evil turns us more unreservedly to Him for help, and thus becomes a means of grace. If one lives rightly, every effort to hurt one will only help that one, for God will give the ability to overcome whatever tends to impede progress. Know this, that you cannot overcome the baneful effects of sin on yourself if you in any way indulge in sin, for sooner or later you will fall the victim of your own as of other sins. Using mental power in the right direction only, doing to others as you would have them do to you, will overcome evil with good and destroy your own sensitiveness to the power of evil. The God of all grace be with you and save you from spiritual wickedness in high places. Spiritual perception brings out the possibilities of being, destroys reliance on aught but God, and so makes man the image of his Maker in deed and in truth. The secret place whereof David sang is unquestionably man's spiritual state in God's own image and likeness, even the inner sanctuary of divine science, in which mortals do not enter without a struggle or sharp experience, and in which they put off the human for the divine. We are Christian scientists only as we quit our reliance upon that which is false and grasp the true. We are not Christian scientists until we leave all for Christ. He who refuses to be influenced by any but the divine mind commits his way to God and rises superior to suggestions from an evil source. Christian science shows that there is a way of escape from the latter-day ultimatum of evil, through scientific truth, to that all are without excuse. Divine love is our hope, strength, and shield. We have nothing to fear when love is at the helm of thought, but everything to enjoy on earth and in heaven.